Hello, Jack Armstrong here. Hey, to my good friends at the Fantasy Football Draft 2.0, the moment has come. The magical moment has come. The draft. The expectations are high. The pressure is real. It is just fabulous. It's intense. It's all about it. And I tell you what, I want to welcome two new teams, Captain Cook and DeAndre the Giant. I mean, I tell you what, I know the Toronto Flatliners won last year, but you know what? You all have to understand something. Don't trade with these guys, okay? A little shaky, a little snake-like behavior, okay? And I tell you what, shit takes really had a tough year last year, and we hope much better year ahead. But, you know, for all you guys, there's going to be a lot of smack talk. Okay, so when anyone talks a little too much smack in these conversations, in this big pressurized draft moment, you know, you turn and tell the other drafter, get that garbage out of here. Right? Have some fun. Celebrate the camaraderie and the joy and the passion and the enthusiasm of fantasy football. By the way, go Bills. Guys, have fun. Enjoy it. And have a great time. And I can't wait for the opening game on September 8th in Los Angeles. We get the Rams and the Buffalo Bills. Have a great fantasy football league, guys. Peace.
All right. Welcome, Kyle. Here we are. It's the post-draft podcast. How's it going, buddy?
Good. Draft day was fun. Started off a little heartbreaking when I lost my boy Saquon right away, but I recovered with Breece Hall in the second to make my heart feel full again.
Is it true that you confronted my sister and her boyfriend in the kitchen about who you were going to take?
And then I literally probably woke up you, Waverly, when I screamed.
I talked to them about that today, and they said you were like, no!
Devastated.
Oh, man. I guess, like, when it comes down to it, though, would Bryce have taken Saquon?
Probably.
We'll have to find that out. He should just say no to Troll, but...
Probably would. It's Troll for sure. We'll never get a real answer.
But yeah, I guess in some ways I think I returned the favor of when you gave me Jamar Chase, I gave you Breece Hall. Can we look at it that way?
You picked far away from me though.
I did.
If anything, your dad gave me Breece Hall.
Ooh. Are you calling out his second round pick?
I like the player in theory, but he's kind of been missing in action for a few years, but he got paid, so who knows?
He's got to be one of the most mysterious players coming to the year. This is Allen Robinson, by the way, everyone. Allen Robinson. That guy is, he was painful for me last year, that's for sure.
Uber talented, but
I would love to look back and see like how many points he got me for when I rostered him. Like it was probably it's probably like 12 points for the whole season. Like that guy was just atrocious. Like was he even
second round pick? Well, he doesn't really matter if Justin Fields is throwing the ball 30 yards above your head.
But it wasn't even Justin Fields for most of the year, was it? It was
no, he was hurt. But
who the heck was it?
Some vet. I don't remember.
Oh my god, I don't remember what to look back on that one. Anyways, it was a great draft. I hope everyone enjoyed themselves.
Can't remember.
Maybe for part of the year. I don't know.
Maybe. Whatever.
I'm not entirely sure. I hope everyone enjoyed the Jack Armstrong cameo. Hopefully Gavin edited that in at the beginning of this podcast. That guy's a beauty. I love that guy. Holy crap.
Hello.
Shit take poo.
Shit take poo. I feel like he blessed my dad's team, you know?
I think
my dad was inspired by that video and he had the best draft of his life.
He did.
He didn't want to let Jack Armstrong down when he called out his team. He's like, holy shit, the pressure's on.
He said my name.
The other part of that video that bothered me was that I told him like it's called the League 2.0, and like he said Fantasy Draft 2.0. Like he just was kind of out to lunch a bit, but that's okay. He's an older guy.
Yeah, it's fair.
Anyways, that was a fun draft though. I hope everyone enjoyed themselves. It was obviously one of the hottest days ever. It was like the muggiest day, and thank God some of you that were sitting not under the covered part found some shade. You and Winter being two of the people.
Pretty much holding hands. Our chairs were like intertwined.
You guys are almost as like together as my sister and her boyfriend. Like you guys look like you're
we were both
conspiring over there.
Different corners. Well, yeah, because we picked up the opposite ends of the draft, so it didn't really matter if we talked. None of the players were getting back to the other, so
yeah, true. Yeah, we had our table was pretty heated. I think it was me, Shane, Gavin, Andrew. It was getting pretty hot over there. But yeah, it was that was fun. Thank you everyone who came. I'm sorry that the traffic was brutal and it was a trek and a half to get there, but I thought it turned out pretty good. The projector, I think it was visible, which was cool because in the daytime it's obviously a little more tricky, but
it was great.
It kind of all worked out.
Nice to have the board up so we could see it still, and you were all over adding the players. A lot of work for you.
Early on, when Steve was trolling me, I actually was like, I was actually losing it a bit. I got a little bit scared, and then after that little flustered moment, I got into it. I was feeling it until that one moment where that one row was like disappeared. I don't understand what happened there.
Yeah.
But outside of that, yeah, it was I got going, and I think I drafted okay considering I had a lot of distractions. I'm not gonna lie, there was a lot going on. But anyways, let's review the draft. Kyle, like first off, how do you feel that you did? Did you enjoy your draft? Do you think things kind of outside of Saquon? Do you think?
Yeah, that's the only thing I don't like. Well, there's a couple other players I wanted that were also taken potentially by Liz and David.
David?
Yeah, sorry, I had a blank. But and when Jared Judy was taken, there was a couple times I was rattled, but I still got players I like, so I like my team overall.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, the most rattled I was about was Wan'Dale Robinson because I couldn't believe anyone even knew who he was.
Like you were sitting on him in the last round.
Yeah, I just wanted a giant in the end, and I didn't want Kenny Golladay. But I like my team overall. How do you feel about your team?
Bryce has two giants, by the way. Is Tony and Golladay. That's wild. That's a weird way to win a league. I was pretty happy. Like, obviously, where I was in the draft, a lot of the top tier running backs and the wide receivers that I wanted were gone. Like, I wanted Devontae Adams as a wide receiver there, and then every running back before me went. But I kind of with the strength of being able to keep Chase and Jefferson, I was very focused on running backs. So I kind of went with guys that I was confident would be number one running backs. So Connor, Fournette, and then AJ Dillon I'm high on. So I was happy how it fell to me. Jalen Hurts, I don't like taking QBs that early, but I'm pretty high on him. And I don't know.
Yeah, he's got a high upside. I was happy you took James Conner and Leonard Fournette because I didn't want them. I wanted Brees.
And honest to God,
you had a little bit of regret at the end of the draft. I remember you.
Yes, I'm very fearful that I'm gonna regret, especially in a keeper. I will regret the not taking Brees Hall, but
you're going for it this year.
I can't keep Jefferson, so like next year Jefferson's gone for me. So this is my year to really go for it, and I kind of went just with proven because I know Brees Hall will be great, but I don't know how long that'll take, and I need the wins like now. So
yeah, he might not be great till the end of the year, even. Who knows?
Who knows, right? And the Jets scare me. They haven't been good for quite a while, so I don't know. That'll be the one thing that haunts me. But outside of that, I was pretty happy with my draft. But anyways, how were there any teams that stuck out to you in a bad way?
First of all, it's that I actually feel like everyone has a pretty good, balanced team. Like the league's pretty balanced this year. But after saying that, my least favorite team is definitely Total Immortal, Andrew Cannell, mainly because he has two Raiders on his team, and I don't trust anything to do with Raiders, especially Josh Jacobs. I've had him before, and so much upside, and for some reason he doesn't get the ball, or when he does, he isn't good with it. And his last 2 picks are not the way I would have went, obviously, because I'm not even sure Isaiah Spiller's gonna play, and P. Ryan's only really valuable when Mix is in there because Cincinnati is one of the last teams that actually just run one running back into the ground.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, Joe
But
Mixon.
it's the end of the draft, so it's hard to be too picky at that point.
Yeah, you're just taking who's left, but that you can definitely tell that he went hard on some rookies near the end, which is a common kind of trend.
Yep.
I would say it's the Oakland players that stand out to me because
they just scare me.
Like, yeah, Josh Jacobs, and apparently it was it's a contract year. They might wasn't there trade talks possibly?
There was trade talks, yes, and Darren Waller has an injured hamstring and an injured ego because he wants more money, or I don't know.
Ooh, you want a healthy ego, you know?
He wants to be the highest paid tight end in the league, so
I don't think that's deserving, but
doesn't mean it won't happen.
Yeah,
he can get it tomorrow, and then he'll be ready to go, and then that pick looks way, way better.
True, that's a very good point. And
how about you?
Wait, someone made an announcement they thought Gabe Davis would do better than Stephon Diggs this year. Who said that?
I don't. Was it Bruce or was it Gavin? I don't know who it is. But either way, they're probably slightly intoxicated.
It was probably Steve.
There was a lot of Gabe Davis love going on post draft, and I like Gabe Davis, but
some people got a bit horny over him, a little too horny.
I'm not sure.
But I think a lot I wanted him, but definitely not there. So
no.
Oh wait, we're not supposed to chirp Steve's team right now, but he took him a little early, but it might pan out. Who said that though? Someone said they would be shocked. Remember. Anyway, so it's the Oakland players that are the detractor for you, I guess. Eh? What about you? You like Elijah Moore though, don't you?
I'm very big on Elijah Moore. Yes. Again, the only downfall is he's a Jet, and it's hard to know what they really are.
Yeah, and I think
because they were worse under Zach Wilson last year. When he played, the receivers performed worse. So,
no, that makes sense. I guess so. I'm gonna go with my least favorite. Well, not least favorite team, but I expected better would be the Toronto Flatliners.
Oh.
Yeah, there were some picks. I'm going to start from the back end though. I'm going after the former champ. Why? I don't understand why you took Brian Robinson and Jameson Williams near the end. Like, I get it, you're getting your rookies, but they're both hurt. We have 1 IR spot, only 4 bench spots.
And Kenneth Walker's also hurt.
He took Ramondre Stevenson over Damien Harris. I get it. He's got the passing down upside, but Damien Harris is still their guy. Like,
at least on the goal line.
Yeah.
He's going to get a lot of touchdowns.
He'll get the touchdowns. You don't have Russell Wilson throwing the ball to DK Metcalf anymore. Like, I'm sorry. I don't trust those QBs. I like AJ Brown, but I feel like he unfortunately, like, I like Jalen Hurts a lot, but I feel like it's actually a downgrade for him for how many targets he's going to get because Jalen Hurts loves to run it.
And he also has the other Eagles receivers.
Yes, that's an interesting.
He also has Devonta. I love Devonta Smith.
And he leaned over to me and was like, "What do you think about taking 2 players in the same team?" And I was like, I don't know. Like, you could make the argument for Chase Higgins. Like, I'm sure some people have done that out there, but
or even like 2 Chargers receivers.
Yes, like it limits your upside. That's for sure. And I like Devonta Smith a lot. I'm not gonna lie, but yet again, like, I feel like Jalen Hurts, like, the way the Eagles, they're not going to run as much as they did last year, but they're still not going to be the top passing team in the league. So
no,
there's not enough to go around. I like Mark Andrews a lot, but yet again, like, I don't know. I'm not going to pick on that one, but
no, Mark Andrews is Mr. Consistent there.
Yeah.
Probably going to finish as the tight end one.
There were just, I see the upside of the Gavin's team, but at the same time, I just feel like I don't know. There's just questionable moves that he made. Maybe he had a couple too wobbly pops. I don't know.
Maybe he was thinking now he doesn't have to set his lineup for the first 4 weeks because his whole bench is injured.
Oh my god. Maybe he's in full rebuild. You know,
No,
he
you
won.
can't make the wrong start sit decision if you don't have any other options.
That's true. Good point. I will say I do like his Trevor Lawrence in the last round. I feel like that's a
Big upside.
value. Yeah, it's huge value. And you still have Justin Fields as a free agent right now. Like
There's just a lot of actually QB free agents because no one took a second one.
I feel like the depth at QB is weirdly like way more than ever. I thought being a 14 team league now that QB like it would be more important to take a QB because like are there 14 good QBs? But apparently there are. So it's not really a problem, I guess.
Yeah, we'll see, I guess.
Anyways, so sorry, Gavin, but yeah, I was a little bit disappointed by your draft. I'm gonna say that now. What about favorite team? Do you have a favorite team, Kyle?
I think I have to go with one of the new teams. I'm gonna choose Finney's team. I think he had a lot of good picks. Maybe Dalton Schultz is the most questionable one. But any team was starting with Dalvin Cook and Najee Harris and Courtland Sutton. And he has Henderson, who's probably the starting back there because I don't trust Cam Akers.
I feel like that went under the radar a bit. I feel like Darrell Henderson was just hanging out there, and I was like, someone should take him.
And J.D. McKissick's going to be highly involved, especially because Brian Robinson's not playing for a while, and I don't think they trust Antonio Gibson.
No,
obviously he's been returning kicks.
Yep.
So I wouldn't be surprised if J.D. McKissick is featured maybe even in week 1. Who knows?
And like even like Khalil Herbert, like that's he like a lot of people were really high on him in the offseason, and then stuff came out that they were confident in David Montgomery, and like
Montgomery looked pretty good, but again, Montgomery is a guy who's been injured.
Yes.
He had one injury, and then it's all Khalil Herbert back there, and he looked great when he was the leading back last year.
Exactly. So there's definitely value there, and like I thought Tyler Boyd. Like I understand it's T Higgins, Chase, like those are your main guys, but I've always thought I know I'm a Bengals fan, but I've always thought Tyler Boyd is really good, and like he's pretty consistent, and I think he's a value where Finney got him.
Yeah, but there's some offenses in the league where you can draft all 3 of their starting receivers because they're all going to be involved.
They'll all get some targets. So
yeah,
I agree with you, man. I thought Finn did really well first draft. You know, like that's pretty huge. He had the first pick, like a lot of pressure for him, you'd think, but he didn't look too nervous over there.
You made it easy for him though with Dalvin and Najee, but
well, I guess I helped him out a bit, but come on, he had to make sure
he did great. No, he did great. Yeah,
so
that's why he's my favorite team,
and he flew all the way here to get her done. So props to him.
What about you? What is your favorite team then?
As gross as is everybody, I gotta say I was very impressed by Kyle's draft.
Who's that?
Some guy named Kyle Jackson. I'm doing this podcast with. I don't want to really. Yeah, I'm gonna do
blushing.
This. Yep, right. No, I was right away when you took Breece Hall. I was like, "Holy shit! I made a mistake." I hated that. But it is what it is. And then obviously taking Kyle Pitts.
As a receiver.
I don't know how you pulled that one off. But you did. But what actually really stands out to me is your wide receiver depth. I know like a lot of teams, they have those number one studs, that like those big names. But I feel like all the guys you got, it's like as if like in hockey, it's like you got those high Corsi players. I feel like the guys you got are like those kind of guys, like Amari St. Brown. Like, wait, Amon St. Brown. Amon St. Brown, Darnell Mooney, Jalen Waddle. They all feel like they fit the mold of like target hogs. I know people will argue that Tyreek Hill is going to take away from Jalen Waddle, but
I think he's going to open up the field.
Yeah, I think it's going to help him. I really do. Yeah. But you've guys that like, man, like they are the number one guys on teams that are going to be down in games. So they're passing the ball a lot.
That's what I was going for.
St. Brown was sick for me last year. He was just like this weird out of nowhere stud that you now draft. Like you took him early, but like it's where his value is. And like Darnell Mooney, same kind of thing. So
Yep.
I don't know. I was impressed, and even your later picks, like as we were talking about earlier, Kansas City feels like an absolute Russian roulette of like what wide receiver is going to be the guy. Like everyone thinks it's going to be Juju. It definitely
could be McCole Hardman. Could be anyone.
It could be McCole Hardman. He might be on my team. We don't have to worry about that. But Scantling, he's someone that for years people thought he'd be the guy for the Packers outside Devontae Adams. Didn't quite get there, but he was like dancing around.
He was.
He could end up being like, I don't know, Mahomes. He needs someone. Someone's gonna eat.
Mahomes.
I know. I like saying it that way. Someone's gonna be his guy, and it could be him. So I thought that was a really great late pick. And Gallup is huge because you put him on your IR, and then you fill in with someone else from free agency. Then when he comes back, he's a number 2 guy. So like, and he was huge until I feel like, I don't know, it was a couple seasons ago, if it was Cooper that was hurt, or maybe it was during the Des Bryant days, I don't know. But Gallup had some big moments, and like
he is a good player. Just there's been so many options in Dallas.
Yes. So I don't know. I was impressed, and I feel like now you've got keepers. Like I think you're going to be keeping Breece Hall and Pitts for the next however many years, right?
It's definitely possible.
That worked out nicely for you. So yeah, I don't mean to. I hope Liz isn't listening to this, but jerk you off on air. But I was impressed. And you and Winter were conspiring over there, and I maybe Winter helped you out. I don't know.
He made me feel better about taking Aaron Jones because I didn't like it. I still don't like it, but Aaron Jones was good to him for years.
Yes, he was. He always treated him well. It's funny how Winter will do that, eh? You're like, that's sick.
I picked a good seat.
So those are our. Wait, did you pick a favorite yet?
I did. Okay. I talked about Finney.
Okay, good. Wow, I just had a moment there. Don't worry about that. Anyways, let's go over some of the other. Like, is there any? How about like an individual pick that stood out to you as being like, oh shit, like that was a really good pick? Did anyone surprise you with any of their picks? Was there anyone that kind of was like, wow, I didn't realize he was still out there? Like for me, one guy that I thought was a good pick, I wish I had him, but at the same time, I don't want the risk, is Michael Thomas. Steve took him in the 5th round, and I was like, shit, he's still available? Like, I didn't...
But
actually, no.
He hasn't played football in years, like 2 full years.
Right? But then on the flip side, like there were good things coming out from training camp. He looked good and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then I think he had a setback. So, like, things are kind of like up and down. But with Jameis Winston throwing the ball, he looked great last year until he got hurt. There's a lot of like, I don't think anyone would be shocked if Michael Thomas was a top 5 wide receiver. So to have someone like that, right?
That's all he's done his whole career.
Exactly. So that pick stood out to me where I was like, shit, I wish I had him. He took him in a round where I had my keepers, so I couldn't have taken him. But man, I thought that was a good pick. Do you have anyone that stands out to you?
I like where your dad took Rondale Moore and even Tony Pollard. I know he's not a big name, but Zeke is old, and Tony Pollard has been very, very useful every time he's touched the ball. I've known he's been very, very successful against the Giants the last few years because I watch every Giant game, and it's just Tony Pollard running for 11 yards every run with Blake Martinez 7 yards behind him.
Isn't it weird how Tony Pollard gets in there and he looks so explosive, and then they put Zeke right back in, and Zeke's like, looks like he's running with like he's running with like weights on his like ankles. Like, what's going on with that guy?
Yeah, so I wouldn't be completely shocked if Tony Pollard somehow had more involvement this year.
Yes.
So I like that pick. I was looking at him around there.
Okay, no, that's yeah. I thought my dad had a surprising draft. I thought like
he did good.
As we said earlier, I think Jack Armstrong really motivated him.
Yep,
outside of Allen Robinson, I thought he made a lot of smart picks, a lot of upside.
Yeah, I like David Njoku. I like all of his picks.
Yes,
mainly.
Yes. Mainly, yeah. I guess I didn't really realize this, but he took Mahomes and then he took Juju. Like, I guess he was kind of going for the stack there, much like Riley. Which, as we were talking about earlier, I think one of the I think a pick that's not necessary. So Riley took Matt Stafford in the 7th. So as we're looking over the QBs, like the QB depth is real. Like there's a lot of QB depth this year, and he didn't have to take him where he did.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers went two rounds later.
Yes, exactly. Like in very similar mold of QB, and like we get it. He wants to stack him with Cup, but Stafford also has this lingering elbow issue,
yeah, on his throwing arm, and no one really. It's very vague about what's wrong with it. Just
it's been an issue. Like such a strange. I don't know. Like it feels like an elbow is very important when you're throwing a ball. I don't know.
Definitely.
So that I don't know. Like it was kind of just an unnecessary pick where he took him. So I thought that was a little bit of a disappointment pick. How about you? Any picks that were kind of like, nah, not necessary, you know?
Not necessary. Well, Bryce took Julio pretty early, which seemed because Julio was bad last year, and the Bucs have a lot of receivers. I like Julio, but maybe I was definitely surprised that he went there, and maybe he could have waited.
Yeah.
But then again, everyone else was taking rookies around then, so maybe he decided to take the consistent vet.
Yeah, I guess like I can see.
But like, I would have rather had one of the rookies there, like Burks or Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Or even,
it's. Yeah. I don't know what you're gonna get from him, right? Like
he's a complete wild card,
and it's kind of you got to earn the trust of Tom Brady, and I don't know what the Bucs feel like an absolute.
Actually, no. The player where I don't know. Where I'm surprised where he went is Antonio Gibson, because I'm not concerned. I'm not convinced he's going to touch the ball. Like they hate him. The Commanders do not like him. The new coaching staff don't like him. All he does is fumble, and they literally replace him with a day 3 running back out of preseason. Don't get me wrong, Robinson looked great before he was shot, but Gibson's returning kicks. I don't remember any running backs who return kicks and then also get the ball.
Yeah, that is. Yeah,
I can't think of any.
Happened. No, that's never happened.
So like, I don't know.
You're a 3rd string running back or something when that happens. So that's scary.
But after knowing a little bit of information, they wanted Brandon Cooks there, so I guess it was kind of a panic pick. That 2-minute clock happens fast, and you panic.
Yes. Yeah.
So maybe
exactly.
that happened.
That's why we should go to an offline, you know?
Yep.
You know what? That's something that bothered me. I swear to God, at the draft, from what I gathered, the majority of people seemed very down to do an offline draft. So what went wrong?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why did we end up with an online draft? I understand that people missing all wanted to do online, but what happened there? Anyways, I got to let it go. I know.
Maybe next year. You just got to convince Bryce to not be at a cottage. Or on a boat.
Yeah. Well, I think the plan is potentially to go to Brucey's cottage.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Apparently it's he can house quite a few people, so
well, we definitely can go to his house because we'd never be able to find each other.
The one thing I'll never forget when I remember I crashed at Steve's a long time ago, and it was the coldest house I've ever been in my life.
That's weird.
Yeah, man, I slept over and he like gave me this bed sheet to sleep with, and I was like, oh my God, it was like 64 degrees. I swear to God, it was so cold.
Here's a sheet.
That's like, do they have heat? What is this? I think it's the winter. Like, what is happening?
Wow.
Anyways, that's a story for another time. So a pick that actually stood out to me. There's actually 2 in a row.
Okay.
That I think are pretty high value picks. So in the 8th round, which a lot of us have keepers usually in that 8th round, Captain Cook, it's the 2 new teams. Captain took Darrell Henderson and then followed DeAndre Giant. Or wait, which way would that go? Actually, that was probably coming the other way. DeAndre the Giant took Devin Singletary, and then Captain Cook Darrell Henderson.
Yep.
I think they're both great values. Like
they're both
Devin
starting
Singletary
running backs currently.
Is right. He's a number 1 running back. Like usually you have to get those guys early, and the Bills score a lot of points. So there's a lot of potential for Singletary. And then Henderson, Akers, I do like Akers, but there's a lot of question marks surrounding him. It could easily become the Henderson show
Yeah, players don't recover off the Achilles injury and have a successful season. Usually, maybe he's the outlier. I don't know, but it just seems like a big risk. But Henderson was incredible every time he played last year. When he was the lead guy, he put up RB1 numbers.
Yes, exactly. So it's like, I don't know. Obviously, we've all done fantasy football for a while. Getting number one running backs, it's tough. That's a lot of the job is finding those guys.
Yep, that's what the waiver wire. That's what everyone spends their fab on.
Exactly, right?
Someone gets hurt, next
injury,
man up.
It just explodes, or guys are putting money down. So, I don't know. I was impressed by those picks. Is there anything else that stands out to you? Any other teams that you liked a lot? Anything else that kind of like
I honestly just think the draft was the most balanced league we've had yet.
Did you notice anything different with 14 teams?
I know I went in with the mentality of just picking the players I like, even if it's early.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's why I like my team more than usual. But
true.
Maybe everyone kind of went that mindset. Like, there was no scenario I was taking Leonard Fournette, even if he was there in the third round. So I was glad when you took him. Like, I just don't like the player.
I don't either.
That's why that was my whole draft was don't take players you don't like.
Oh my god, I went against myself on that.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't like him, but I'm gonna do it. Oh man, I'm gonna regret it.
There's going to be a lot of smack talk. Okay, so when anyone talks a little too much smack in these conversations in this big pressurized draft moment, you turn and tell the other drafter,